In this video, I'm going to show you how you can really take control of your habit with an unheard yet highly effective method. So this is a method that will allow you to ally with your human nature, making a habit easy to change. So this is the 3 dimensions method, where we'll look at a habit in 3 dimensions: biological, psychological, and sociological. It is based on the biopsychosocial model, which is originally used in medicine and science to study health, disease, and importantly, human development. However, here we can also use it to not just only study health and save lives, but also to improve lives. Now let's get into it. You will only need one side of a paper and a pen or a pencil. I'm pretty sure that this one page only will help you to significantly create a breakthrough in your life. So at the top left of the paper, write down a habit you want to change. Divide the paper into 3 columns and write down biological, psychological, and sociological, like so. Okay, so now let's tackle the biological dimension first. There are 2 parts here. First, we have the biohacking, and the second, we have the conditioning. With the biohacking, it can be extremely useful to know if a habit can be biohacked or not. For example, let's say we want to wake up feeling energetic at 5 a.m. every day. It's useful to ask if there is any biological mechanism that is manipulatable. And fortunately, there is. We can manipulate our biological clock and sleep pressure by having a post-wake white light exposure to reset the clock. Once the biological clock is reset, you will automatically find it easier to wake up at 5 a.m. on a future date. So here, make a search if there is any way you can biohack the habit, and list ways you can hack it here below. With the conditioning, it's important to understand that the more we repeat a behavior, the stronger our brain neurological connection for that behavior. This will result in less willpower if we want to repeat the behavior again in the future. Just think about brushing your teeth, how easy it is. On the contrary, the less you repeat a behavior, the weaker our brain neurological connection for that behavior. This will then result in more willpower required. Set aside 10 consecutive days for behavioral conditioning. Challenge yourself to totally avoid a habit you want to get rid of for 10 days. Or make sure you don't miss a habit you want to add into your daily routine for 10 days. Within this time frame, if you fail, you have to start the 10-day game all over again. So here, write down day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on, with boxes next to them. Seeing and ticking the boxes will motivate you to win the challenge. Now we are moving on to the psychological dimension. It's important to know that goal setting and creating a reward loop are just parts of psychological dimensions. There are various videos and books about this, and many of us are already familiar with them, so we will not be talking about them in this video. There are 3 important parts to the psychological dimensions that I'm going to be talking about. They are the pain and pleasure principle, habit replacement, and strategies. With the pain and pleasure principle, Tony Robbins, a world expert in human peak performance, says that all human behaviors are governed by 2 twin forces: the desire to avoid pain and the desire to gain pleasure. Virtually everything we do is to change the way we feel. We move away from pain and we move toward pleasure. I believe that changing one's life radically and permanently isn't just about changing yourself logically, but it's also about changing yourself emotionally. Having the IQ makes you excel in work, but having the EQ will make you excel in life. Not associating enough pain with the old behavior and pleasure to the new behavior can lead us to procrastinate. For pain, write down all reasons why the old habit will cause you to feel pain, or why not engaging in a new habit will cause you pain. For pleasure, Write down all reasons why not engaging in the old habit will result you in pleasure, or why engaging in a desired habit will give you pleasure. So think about a sense of significance, a feeling of love, growth, and contribution you would get if you successfully avoid or engage in a habit of desire. With the habit replacement, Tony says that we are all driven by 6 human needs. First, fun or uncertainty. 2, security or certainty. 3, significance. 4, love. 5, growth. And 6, contribution. Your job here is to find out what human need or needs the old habit gives you, and find a more empowering habit that gives you the same human need to replace it. Keep in mind that if you don't find the replacement, it's going to be easy for you to revert back to the old behavior. For example, if you are addicted to a video game because it gives you a human need of variety, you might try to replace this habit by doing a sport. If the video game gives you a feeling of significance, you can also replace it with engaging in a team sport or creating something creative, such as playing an instrument, to name a few. So remember, these are not concrete ways to quit gaming addiction, and different people will have different routes to the same destination. It's up to you to experiment with different things. Now for part 3, strategies. Ask yourself these 2 questions. What are all barriers preventing you from achieving this habit? And what are solutions to overcome them? The second question is that try to think of all ways you can create a signal that reminds you to repeat a habit or avoid a habit. In other words, what are the clues to actions? For example, this can be setting a reminder or having someone to remind you. And finally, this is my favorite part, the sociological. From my personal experience, this dimension is the most powerful in helping myself to change a habit. In fact, the sociological dimension alone can override the rest of the 2 dimensions. From my experience, because it allies with so much of our human nature, and it can be so much fun. Psychologists and other health professionals often highlight the importance of social support when it comes to reaching a goal or dealing with a crisis. Importantly, it helps you to cope with stress and improves your motivation. Specifically, when we are in a group setting, our human nature pushes us in 3 ways: a desire to fit in, emotional contagion, and hyperconfidence. A desire to fit in is one of the strongest human drive, causing any habit change to last. Emotional contagion also occurs in a group setting where, as the name implies, emotion within the group becomes contagious. There is a psychological phenomenon known as group polarization. This is when an individual who joins a group with people with similar opinions or goals, their attitudes tend to be more extreme. When the attitude strengthens, it's more likely for that habit change to last as well. Finally, we tend to feel more confident when in a group setting, and that can also increase our self-efficacy. That is our self-perception that we are going to be successful with the habit change. So whatever habit change you want to achieve, you can find a friend with the same goal. Write down what is your strategy in getting them. Perhaps you can find a nearby society. What is your strategy for this? Find or create an online social media group. Once again, what is your strategy? Or maybe you can find an accountability partner. That can also work as well. So the sociological dimension does not only just consist of people, but also resources that are physical, such as technology. So what is your strategy in exploiting technology? Or maybe you can also move to a different location with more or better resources. Okay, and there you have it, guys. These are the 3 dimensions method of taking control of your habit, taking control of your life. Step 1. Think of a habit in 3 dimensions: biological, psychological, and sociological. For step 2, address your biology to find a way to biohack that habit. And think about creating a 10-day period where you can dedicate your time focusing on the conditioning. Step 3. Address your psychology, linking pain and pleasure to a habit you want to modify. Find replacement for your old habit and strategize how exactly you're going to be successful. Lastly, address the habit socially by exploiting powerful human natures in a group setting. If you don't want to miss any opportunities to transform your life, please click the subscribe button and hit on the bell icon so that you will not miss any future videos from this channel. Thank you for watching, guys. This is NS Kyle.